Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another broadcast of Cold Grits Podcast. I got a special guest today, Coach Mac, Brunswick High graduate and Middle Tennessee football player, Savannah State, Ole Miss, real guru mind of the game, you understand? So why don't you introduce yourself, Coach Mac?
No doubt, man. Coach Mack here. Glad to be joining us. Let's talk some of this football, man. A lot of interesting ball play been going on over the last several weeks. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Let's start off with this the college football format and everything. See what's going on. I see there's a lot of close games last weekend. What you thought?
Um, I kind of expect that this time of year. Everybody getting into conference play. A lot of these staffs have seen each other for a couple of years now, so they kind of know what to expect. The players, a lot of them gonna be at the same level now that you're in the conference play. So the game's gonna get closer. There's a lot of film out on all the teams. Everybody got about 6, 7 games underneath them. So from a game plan perspective, there's not a lot of surprises. So I imagine the game's gonna get closer and closer as we move on. I think the biggest thing around the second half of the season is injuries. Those teams that can avoid those injuries, they're gonna be all right. And the ones that take some significant injuries, they may fall off.
Well, I mean, I heard some things over the weekend, and a lot of people been questioning the number one team in the country because of one man. You know what I'm saying? So, and my thing is, it's the next man up, and I feel like they got a pretty good, decent squad just to continue to do what they need to do. What's your perspective on Brock Bowers being injured going into this Florida game this weekend?
I mean, Bowers being out is a huge hit for Georgia, but at the same time, they got a talented roster, and they got a staff that's one of the highest paid staffs in the country. So I would anticipate them making the necessary adjustments they need to make. I mean, you got a talented roster. You can make some changes in your game plan to be effective in other ways. Start leaning more on the offensive line. I think they can get them through a lot of these games. And then just hopefully Bowers will be back in time for the SEC championship and when they get in the playoff and get into the playoffs. But in the short term, there's still enough talent on their roster uh, to get the W's. I think a lot of people want Georgia to be dominant. This is not what they're going to be this year. They got a lot of players that's developing. A lot of players, this is their first year really getting significant time, so they're not going to be as dominant as they was in the past. But at the end of the day, can they be effective enough to get W's is the most important thing. What Kirby and his staff is doing, I think they're doing a solid job, excellent job. And I think Georgia this year is not in a position we're just going to out athlete you. No, Georgia's going to out coach you this year. And
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
done a good enough job thus far. And some of these other teams need to just step up a little bit and see if they can put a loss on them. But uh, I know everybody. It feels like if they're not dominant, they're not the same. Uh, you don't got to be dominant to win. Just got to win.
No, no. It's all about, going into the game. You may start the first half slow, but then you got to go in the second half and make your adjustments so you can move. Especially how, I got alerts like halftime. Tennessee is up on Alabama 20-7, and I'm like, what? No, like me, ain't no way in the world. So I go watch the game just to see Alabama slap them around in the second half, and it's like, oh, it's. I said, oh, that's adjustments. They went in there and made adjustments. They saw what they needed to do, and now it's time to execute, and then it worked out. So that's a good point on the adjustment calls of coaching, because I think this is the point now where people actually seeing a Kirby Smart and a Nick Saban actually coach. Like we don't just have talent. We have to coach these kids. You know what I'm saying? It's just not over there just walking over everybody week after week, week after week. But it's shown because Georgia had some close games early in the season. Even though the Kentucky game, which I felt like the Kentucky going into the Kentucky game playing in the Stanford Stadium it's a hard thing to do, especially a night game because they're gonna show up. Like them fans gonna show up. So you got the crowd to deal with and you got the players to deal with. So I already knew that was gonna be what it was, but it was pretty straight. So what you think about Michigan right now?
They look good. But they haven't really, to be honest with you. Michigan's schedule kind of comes down to a couple of games: Penn State and Ohio State. Um, but thus far, they've looked good. They've leaned on their offensive line. Their offensive line has shown up every week. Defensively, they make plays. They don't give up a lot of big plays. Um, and to be honest with you, if McCarthy could continue to play, uh, pretty solid ball, Michigan really got a chance, man. I don't think people need to just blow them off just because what happened last year in the playoffs.
And put that high-powered Michigan offense on the field to start.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. I feel like to me, just as they, like you said, they schedule, but to me, they're a pretty strong team this year. They have shown themselves as far as defense and offense wise. Like, we're gonna stick to our guns and stick to what we're doing, and it's been working for them. For me, Ohio State has been starting off a little slow, but I think it's just because of the package of Marvin Harrison Jr. Everybody focus on him and what he's going to do and everything like that. That keeps Ohio State not using all the weapons that they have, because it just seems like to me the media wants to see more Marvin Harrison Jr. And it's like, well,
do you think that they got is the quarterback play good enough for them to win it all?
No. I feel like more power play with their run game will be better.
Yeah.
And build up the play action, because what I watched from what I could see against Penn State last Saturday was just the fact of his poise in the pocket was scratchy, because it was like you have other people open, but it's like they already told you who to throw it to. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not making decisions, you're not making choices. Somebody already told you, throw it to 18, throw it to 88, throw it to this person, throw it like don't guess, just do it. And when he had to guess and those people wasn't open, he's like, all right, what I do next? And he wasn't making a lot of great decisions. And I think that's going to hurt them when they get to a team like Michigan, because you're not just playing the crowd. And you playing this other team, but you playing everything around you in the rivalry of it. And it's going to feed in his head.
I mean, I feel like I want to see. I mean, he played effective enough to win this week against Penn State, but it was shaky. Therefore,
but would they have won if that holding call didn't get called? It was a holding when the linebacker had knocked the ball out. Like, to me, that was the most critical part of the game. No matter how long or how more it played out, that right there, that was the most critical part of the game, because Penn State offense was just rocky the whole game, and they needed something from their defense to get that thing. And the defense played good, and they started looking bad once their best leading linebacker went out with the injury. And then it was like downhill from there. And it's like, to me, I felt like watching the game, Penn State was a better team. They just didn't execute when it was time to execute. That's all it was to me.
To me, a lot of those Big Ten games come down to the trenches.
Yes.
And that's been a question about Ohio State the last 2 years against Michigan is, are they good enough in the trenches to win? Because they've been getting beat up, to be honest with you, in the trenches over the last 2 years in Michigan. Like you said, against Penn State, I think, to me, from what I've seen as far as the trenches battle, pretty evenly matched between Ohio State and Penn State. But I feel like Ohio State just made one or two more plays in terms of skill position to win the game. Like you say, that call was it was a big factor, especially in the game so tight. But at the end of the day, Penn State offensively just wasn't effective enough. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of people been waiting for James Franklin and his offense kind of be a little bit more explosive. And right now, I think it's happening. I'm not to say it can't happen. Not to say they won't put it together and find a way to make a run the second half of the season and make playoffs. But at this point, I still will favor Michigan coming out of the Big Ten. I don't think the Big Ten is going to put one team in the playoffs. I don't see two of those teams making it, just because how strong really the Pac-12 is looking right now. And then also you also got deal with SEC. So I see only one team making it. And if I had put more money on it right now, I still say Michigan.
I can't disagree with you on that one at all, because I've been surprised this year to see how well the Pac-12 actually has been playing and doing. I mean, all teams, even though Oregon lost to Washington, that was a great game. Like, great game, great preview of two good quarterbacks. Great preview of two good quarterbacks. The Oklahoma Texas game was great premiere of two good quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? So, Utah has a good quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think conference they got the best group of quarterbacks.
Yes.
In the country, and I think that's what makes them so effective.
Yes.
The fact that their quarterback plays pretty strong this year, because what DJU is doing up at Oregon State is pretty impressive, and then what Shador is doing over at Colorado. I mean, come on. I mean, the quarterback play is outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, even though Colorado don't have the wins in front of them that some media people may like, his play itself has been phenomenal week after week. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's lasting the whole game. Like, he's playing the whole game. It's not his fault that things just don't get executed. That's what the defensive coordinators on other teams are for, is to make sure that doesn't happen. But at the same time, his quarterback play has been great. Like,
now when you say they don't got that many wins ahead of them, how many more wins you give Colorado?
I give Colorado. What's the schedule?
Pull it up.
Let's see. Colorado Buffaloes. So they're 4-3 right now.
Yep.
The Stanford game, to me, like, a lot of people called me about that Stanford game, and it was ridiculous. And I was like, what? Oh, you saw what happened? Yeah, he ain't that good. Like, dude, so is Nick Saban not that good? Like, I've seen this happen to a lot of coaches. Like, it just happens, you know. People make adjustments, people make moves, and some people play the scoreboard. Look like they played the scoreboard. They thought they had the game. Another team continued to play. But they got UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. It depends on. Oh, they at UCLA. I don't know. That might be an L, bro. So that's what, 4-4. So that's 4-4 in my mind. Oregon State, that might be an L.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona showed up last week.
Mm-hmm.
They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left. I see them losing at least 3 more.
Damn. So you got them 6-6.
But I'm 100% sure, and just me on the other hand saying this, is they want them in a bowl game. I don't care. They want them in a bowl game, because they
got to win 6 games at least.
Yeah, so I see them getting 2 more wins,
and who
get bowl eligible.
Who those wins are?
Maybe Arizona and Washington State.
Okay.
It's to me, Utah is good. They good. They're not spectacular, but they're good. Mm-hmm. They real good. And the fact that they got to go to Utah, that's the if part. Now, the Oregon State game, Oregon has started off good, ended off bad, or either started off bad, ended off good. So that's a little rocky for me. Just going to UCLA and knowing that how well UCLA has been playing, I could see them probably taking the L in that one.
I mean, I look at it a little different, bro. First off,
okay,
off about week.
Okay.
And so
you got to make your adjustments, make your movements, and everything like that.
Expect some improvement and a little bit better tackling coming out of. That's usually one of the biggest things that coaches focus on during the off week is cleaning up the tackling on this side of the ball. And to be honest with you, that what really cost them during the Stanford game. There was some pivotal third downs that they just failed to bring the guy down. You know, so I see an improvement in tackling. I see them beating UCLA. I see UCLA as a W. The only two I see two more losses. That'll be Oregon State and at Utah. I see both of them as losses, but I think they can get the other three. I see them at 75, and with 75, I see them, getting into a pretty decent bowl just because of the amount of attention that Colorado brings. So,
and
I
no
think
matter
it's.
who they play, it's gonna be sold out. It's gonna be a sold out game.
Mhm.
People going to see, and it's for me, just the fact of him winning 6 or 7 games is a stepping stone to say, hey, I came to a program that was 1-8 or 1-9 or whatever they was.
And
And
I look at it as this is the formula for Prime.
yeah,
If you look at what he did at Jackson State that first season, which was that spring season of COVID, they took some L's. You know, they got their ass whooped a couple times.
yeah.
Told everybody, get me doing my first year because I'm only gonna get better from here. And I see the same thing with them. I see them if they can get out of this thing at 75. I think that's a good first year. 75, get into a bowl game. Hopefully, they can win that.
And then they'll
And
be in the top 25 next year, starting off the season.
and the biggest thing is if Shador, I believe Shador will come back. I believe he'll at least give it one more year. Um, but who's to say? Who's to say? It's really
Is Shador a Heisman
early to determine
candidate?
that. No, not with the number of losses they got. I think that Stanford game kind of sealed the deal in terms of him not
Being
going.
invited, not getting that
Yeah,
look.
yeah, not going to New York.
You didn't close it out. You didn't close it out.
Yeah, I think if they win there and they're the one out, then yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But with them taking that third loss, no, I don't see Heisman invite, and I think that might be part of the reason he comes back next year. I think he will be the favorite next year.
Yeah.
Um,
I see that. I saw that as well. I see him as the favorite for next season if he comes back.
Mhm.
He comes back. USC.
mhm.
What? Two losses in a row?
The same thing. I mean, Lincoln Riley, and to be honest with you, them doing a pretty much a shitty ass job on defense.
But before you finish, let me say something about that.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley, who was the coach for Arizona that just got fired? That was at Texas Tech.
Um,
Well, these air spread or air raid offenses.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they forget about defense. It's like when I see air raid offenses, I'll be like, you got to match them. You got to match them point for point because their defense is not as strong. But if you try to air it out every play like they do, then that's when you mess up because I think they focus more on the pass defense than they do the run game and everything. So I figure if you can pound and ground and control your defense with your offense, that you can beat those kind of systems. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I noticed last week the week before with Notre Dame. Notre Dame stayed on the ground a lot that week. And I was like, okay, they basically saying like, hey, you're gonna have to get on the field and score as quick as you can. And the week before when they played Colorado, not Colorado, but the other team they almost lost to. Who was that they almost lost to in one? Well, it was Arizona. They played a close game against Arizona the week before. And I said, oh no. Like you can't do that going against Notre Dame next week. You can't do that. And it happened. Even the point of the fact of Colorado scoring 40 points, Arizona scoring 40 points. You know what I'm saying? Notre Dame beat you with 40 points. And then Utah game was just, hey, it's like you had it on your shoulder of everybody telling you can't beat Utah, that you couldn't play well. And Caleb Williams just like to me, you're still one of the best quarterbacks that it may come out next year, but this year, but I still feel like you're not that guy yet. Like, even though I like you as I like him as a player, he's not that guy yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I see
the
it
coach
different.
is saying, "Hey, do you?" And
I
he's
see
not.
it different.
Okay.
Jalen Williams, that guy. It's not him, bro. Look at the results offensively. What they've gotten. Uh, they put up at least 30 plus points in every game besides the dang game when they put up 20. Okay. Um, to me, like you say, defensively, you're going to play more snaps when you do have an area offense. So there's a tendency there to be more. The other team having more opportunities to put up points. I understand that, but I think the approach sometimes. I think some of these coaches concede the fact they're going to give up points and don't necessarily have build a culture of being dominant defensively. With being that they have every offense. And I think it's more of a culture and a culture mindset that needs to be adjusted in USC. What Lincoln Riley does offensively is very impressive. It has always been.
Mm-hmm.
But his inability to find a defensive coordinator who can build a culture on the other side of the ball to match what they do on the opposite side of the ball has kind of been the problem. And I see them going into the offseason to make some adjustments, and hopefully this time around they'll be able to be a little bit more effective. But they have wasted the opportunity because with that offense and Caleb Williams, to be honest with you, if they were more effective defensively, I see them as probably they had a chance to win that championship this year. But unfortunately,
do you think that his decision is going to be made on where they go as far as bowl wise? Like, because
no,
if he feels
I
like
don't
they
see.
got an
I don't see
opportunity
them
to play in the national championship next year. Actually, I felt like they had an opportunity this year to play in the national championship into the two
yeah,
races.
without them being in the playoffs, he's not playing the bowl game. It don't make sense. So no, I don't see them. Any bowl committee look see right now need to anticipate the fact that Caleb Williams will not be out there.
And see, that's what I think that's going to be a factor on where they get placed as well. Because most of your players that know they're going to be top picks, they probably not going to play in no bowl game, especially if it's not a national championship competition. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not in the national championship, they don't need for me to play. You know what I'm saying? And I see that with a lot of players this year. A lot of players this year. So
players are looking at their the cost benefit of it. Bowl games they're cute, but if they're not going to have a dramatic impact on my draft status, and at this point my college career is over, what's the point? I'm just going out there and risking a chance of further injury when I can already get those extra 4 or 5 weeks and put that into my combine training.
Yeah.
Because at that point the film is in, and it's more about my combine performance is going to affect my draft status the most. So at that point, I see why a lot of guys just choose not to. At the same time, if you're building a program and not necessarily just having a team from year to year, it's actually a good thing, in my opinion, for the coaches and the young players moving forward. Get those players out the way, give me some effective game experience with some of my younger guys to get us ready as we move forward. At that point, we haven't won the conference championship, and if you ain't playing for conference championship, what's the point? You know what I mean? So at that point, conference championships have been decided. Those teams that are going to be playing for the national championship, they've been selected. So, old guys who feel like they want to get ready for the draft, go ahead and start doing what you're doing. Let me get some of this young talent on the field and see how effective and what they can do in game time and game situation. And as a fan, I understand how some fans may see it as a negative, but I see it as a positive because if you're a fan and you're not a fan of the 2023 team, you're a fan of the program, and you want what's best for the program. And moving forward, if those guys don't want to play and suit up that last bowl game, That's fine.
Yeah, because I mean, it's their future they gotta look at, and I mean, they're told they'll come there for a better education so they can better themselves when they leave the school. But most people want them to stay as long as they can to get something that's not even promised to you. You know, a national championship ain't promised to anybody. You know, it's called hard work and dedication on the off season to make
No,
that
it's not.
happen.
Um, it's not.
So,
And so
so I mean, I don't hate the guys
hard.
that
They really do. They work hard. They put a lot of time in
yeah.
to get their bodies. This is a 12-month situation in terms of your body preparation, your mental preparation, and everything else that goes into the game. So them making the decision that's in their best interest. I don't think nobody can have no ill thoughts on it. I mean, yeah, a lot of people are old school in what they want to do, but shit, a lot of old school stuff got to die here. So
I mean, hey, we can agree with that when it comes to Alabama because Alabama used to be a pound and ground team. You know, they was always guaranteed to have great offensive line, great running backs, and it's a game management as a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? They had always produced good tight ends, good running backs, but nowadays they's like, hey, we got to put this ball in the air. We got to move. We can't do it like we used to do it because everybody's catching on to us and it's picking up. So hey, we gotta change things up if we want to keep winning. And we saw that the last few years with them.
for sure, for sure.
Years with them. Um, so I don't know if you keep up with Mel Kiper. I can't stand the dude,
What's that?
but but he put out his board the other day. Let me try to find it. The he put out his board the other day.
What's up, Mel
For
Kiper?
his yeah.
What you got against Mel, man?
I don't know. I just feel like he hypes up the people they want him to hype up.
I mean, he is in the entertainment business. He got to, it's an entertainment in there.
Yeah, true. And where is it? There it is.
Absolutely, it's some entertainment in there. But at the same time, I mean, he does have a staff that does to me, they do a moderately effective job of scouting. Nobody's going to be 100%. But I can't say he's terrible. I can't say he's bad. I would say more so Mel does a decent job of mixing the two. One is do a great job of evaluation, and two is bringing that and making that entertaining. Be honest with you, if you get into it and what talent evaluation is and scouting what it is, it's boring as hell. I think, and most people don't want to sit back and learn what actually everything into it, all the nuances of the game, all the other stuff, and how this player fit this system and some stuff. I mean, a lot of that shit, to be honest with you, so can you still bring that and mix it with entertainment? Mel does a good job. I think Mel crafted and niche his own place within the industry. Before him, it wasn't there. You know what I mean? So I actually salute what he did because he created an industry that, to be honest with you, that didn't exist before.
And it gives you, I mean, one thing I do see, it gives you the opportunity to see a lot of players that maybe some people ain't talking about. Because, like, if you're in the Pac-12 and you only focus on the Pac-12, you're probably not paying attention to what's really going on in the Big Ten unless you got to play the Big Ten. You know, if you're in the SEC, most people that's root for the SEC is like, oh, I know players in the SEC. And then every other player that may be in this side, we may look at or whatever. So I do give that concept of the thing. It's like, okay, oh, you saying this guy? Oh, let me go check this guy out. Oh, you say this guy? Let me go look at this. This week I'm gonna go look at this guy. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I got on the board now his rankings for top 10 for each position. Each position.
Okay.
Yeah, you see.
What's the quarterback? So let's go over the quarterback. What's the quarterback?
Go over the quarterbacks. All right. Quarterbacks we got, and forgive me if I mess up any names or anything. We got Caleb at number 1.
Yeah.
Drake May at number 2.
Yeah.
Shador Sanders at number 3.
Yeah.
Michael Pitts at number 4.
Okay.
Bo Nix at number 5. JJ McCarron at number 6.
Ooh.
Quinn Edwards.
Yeah.
Gwen Edwards.
Yeah.
Ali Leonard at 8. Jaden Daniels at
Oh,
number
Leonard
9.
from what? Where Leonard from?
Riley Leonard
Oh, from Duke.
from Duke. Oh, that motherfucker's a beast. He good.
Yeah.
He's good. Jaden Daniels, which I don't see Jaden Daniels leaving this season as well. I don't
Okay.
see him leaving. And Michael Parks from Tulane, which Michael Parks Tulane is a sleeper to me because I watched one of his games this year and he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He played pretty good.
All right. They gotta have DJU in there, bro. I'm sorry. The hate on DJU needs to stop. I mean,
I think the reason why DJU is not up there is because of his years at Clemson. They kind of
I mean,
they kind of evaluating
they
that versus what he's actually doing now. That's why I feel
bro, it
like
needs.
if Oregon
Wait,
State can go and run the Pac-12 and get
they
to the Pac-12 championship, it'll change.
they need to evaluate how effective he is in approach to offense, what he is at Oregon State.
Yeah.
DJU wasn't the issue at Clemson. The offensive staff was the issue at Clemson. As they see right now, what Clemson and the performance they putting up right now. It's not DJ. It wasn't DJU. I didn't think it was. I never thought it was. I thought they just did a terrible job and play calling. I thought they did a terrible job of game planning, and they just came and relied on their athletes to out athlete everybody for the last 2 years. And Dabo refused to go out and hire a real offensive coordinator. He kept trying to promote within. Some of those guys he was promoting within don't mean they ain't great guys. Or mean they ain't great people. Are not going to be great coaches, but they just wasn't ready. And I think right now, people seeing what TJU can do when he's with an effective offensive system. To me, he's a guy who came out highly regarded, got the size, got the arm strength. He pretty much got the feet work, got everything you look for in terms of a pro quarterback, to be honest with you. But any coach or anybody else, you put him in a terrible situation, it's going to look a little funky. You know what I mean? And I think he was in a bad situation at Clemson. I like a lot of other guys that got on the list. I would have Riley from Duke a little higher.
I thought so too. I'd have said at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, I like what I see from that guy. I know he went down this week against Florida State.
I mean,
Riley,
in my opinion, he played well when he did what he needed to do, but I still felt like he shouldn't have played that game. I was like, because he didn't look 100%, but he played well enough to keep them in the game. Keep them in the game. So, and that's why I feel like a player like you don't want to get hurt too much to the point where it's like, yeah, you was a first round look, but now I gotta just wait because I don't really know what your injury is and how well it's gonna be. For me, dude at Duke probably won't play it to the ACC championship game. If I'm him, I'm getting 100% before I do anything else.
Absolutely.
Period. I mean, because they have an opportunity to make a bowl, and if you can keep at least win 2 more games and without you and make a bowl game and you sit there and get 100%, then go in that bowl game and use that as your showcase and saying, hey, this is what I can do.
Absolutely.
Like what I can do. So that's what I see, But Michael Pitts is my guy. Like I watched this dude against Oregon and I was like, his ball placement is phenomenal. I mean, straight phenomenal. Like the way I mean, I could probably say he has the weapons there because the wide receiver they have there, that he's a top pick too as well. But the way he was placing the ball against Oregon's defense was, to me, crazy. And last week watching them play, I said I'm gonna let this week slide until you play again. But if you have another game like this, I'm going to change my mind because I felt like you came off the hype. You know how it was when we played in high school and you just come off that game. It was a possibility that this team was just as good as you was. And I don't know about when you played because y'all dominated everybody y'all played against. But you had to play that team that you knew, like, say we played Charleston County, for instance. I use them for example. Everybody knew you was going to get either walk the dog on or you're going to play hard when it came to Charleston County. And I felt like going into the game after beating Oregon, they were so hyped about it that they didn't go into the next game with the same game. They was mentally like, oh, this team is not that good. We should walk the dog on them. And it ain't like that week after. We know that playing this ourselves, playing the game ourselves, like You got to play week after week. You can't just say, "Oh yeah, we just beat the best team. We straight. We'll walk all the way through the rest of the season." Like, nah, you got to play week after week. Somebody want to knock you out.
Absolutely.
Somebody wants to knock you out.
Absolutely.
So I feel like he's in a good spot at number 4. He's in a good spot, and I feel like he climbed. I don't think at the beginning of the season they had him that high, but he's at a good spot. But I really feel like this class right here,
Mm-hmm.
even in the top 10, like even if Jaden don't come out, even if Shador don't come out, even if Caleb Williams don't come out, you still have 7 good quarterbacks coming out this season.
Yeah, I think this class of quarterbacks is one of the better classes that's came out in a while.
Yes.
I really feel like there are some bona fide NFL starting quarterbacks coming out in this class. And we're gonna say, and I think this is more of a reflection of the development of all these young guys and 7-on-7 camps and a lot of these other things happening for these guys at younger ages now. You know, the quarter. I mean, what they get in college and doing and how effective it is a little different from before. And I'm looking forward to seeing what a lot of these guys can do at the next level because I really like a lot of these guys that's coming out of this class. But we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. Other thing, the NFL. I mean, some of the NFL been doing such a good job of protecting quarterbacks. They got guys around so long that it's I mean, it's tough because you got guys, everybody staying 15, 20 years at the quarterback position now. So it's tough for a lot of these young guys to get in, to be able to get in the league and get that real opportunity because guys are it's just not a lot of positions there. You know, and to be honest with you, you got 32 teams and you got about 2 to 3 quarterbacks in each team. So it's really only, let's say 96 spots for quarterbacks. So
Yeah, and then it's a lot of teams like now that don't need quarterbacks. I mean, you was one of the guys that I told, like, take the Carolina Panthers for instance. I told them they, you don't like I even said the class that's coming out after this class is so much better than the class that was coming out because it was only 3-4 prospects that was coming out this class, and it's like, dude, you just picking from the cream of the crop because you feel like you need something that you can live without for right now, and you can get your franchise guy the next year. You know what I'm saying? Like you get your franchise guy the next year. Like I understand, and everybody was hyped on Bryce Young and everything, but I felt like CJ Stroud was a better quarterback in my mind. I felt like Anthony Robinson was an athlete playing quarterback, and he was just as decent. You know what I'm saying? And I measured it off the height for Bryce Young. If Bryce Young was 6'4", you probably see a different Bryce Young. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he can see over the line, he can move around, he can do the things that he needs to do and stuff like that. But I know a lot of
Yeah. So you telling me you don't like Bryce?
No. I don't like Bryce's height. It's always like in my mind, like I told a couple of guys the other day. In my mind, if the Panthers wanted a quarterback that short, you should have kept Baker Mayfield. Like,
okay.
You should have kept Baker Mayfield. And my thing is, and a lot of people can agree and may disagree, but most quarterbacks are good if the system fits them. Some quarterbacks are not good if they have to fit the system.
I wouldn't even say most quarterbacks, most players.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Most players, because like a lot of my friends here in South Carolina would be mad if I didn't bring up Spencer Rattler, but Spencer Rattler to me is a good quarterback. He's working with whatever he has to work with at South Carolina, and he's surviving week after week. He's surviving week after week because, like, he can only do but so much. You know what I'm saying?
I think Spencer could develop into a starting quarterback at the next level.
I agree, but I feel like he will be the guy that may hold the clipboard for a couple of seasons, or maybe one, and then step in and do what he needs to do. But he has to be in the right system. He has to be in the right system.
Absolutely.
Have to be in the right system. That's with any of it. And I feel like with Caleb Williams, people coming out saying that he may not come out if this team or this team or this team ain't drafting him. He don't want to come out like that. And I feel like they already see that system ain't gonna fit you. that system ain't gonna fit you. Because like you take Lamar Jackson for instance, to going through his combine and everything, and him saying that teams ask him to move the wide receiver, and he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay at quarterback." And the Baltimore Ravens drafted him and say, "Hey, do you do what got you here?" Like, and that's it. Like now it's more like, oh, can he get over the hump? Now he got to read the defenses. Now he got to understand this, understand that. But from what I saw over the weekend, he still looked like Lamar that I knew.
Yeah.
Like it was I didn't see what the media is talking about. I was like, he looks like Lamar. He throws the ball like Lamar. He moves the plays like Lamar. Like if I have to run, I'll run. But I don't want to run because I don't want to limit my career, because all it takes is that moment and then I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Because first thing they'll say, if he go week after week and don't run the ball, well, when he run the ball, they win this many games. Like, okay, then I run the ball. Oh, he's running too much. Like they can't make their mind up on what they want. So, but for me, like there's next season, there's no team that can say they don't have a quarterback next season. The only thing I feel about Caleb Williams saying that he don't want to come out this year, it's possibly he don't want to come out this year. If he doesn't, you might have hurt your chances of being a star at a team. Might hurt
No,
you.
I think it's more so he taking the approach that Eli and Jeff George took, and
Okay. I want to pick the team that I want to play for.
his only leverage right now is the threat of him possibly not coming out.
Yeah, true.
And I think what will happen is at the end of this year, once the NFL season and the draft order is set, those will be some of the conversations that will be had. I think him officially announcing his, he in the draft is going to be late, because I think that's going to be some of the conversations that his brass is going to start having with whoever's in that number one, number two spots. Is okay. Who's your OC? What things does the franchise have in place for us to be effective? Because look at Bryce. I mean, he's going in a situation where you're going behind a bad offensive line. Even looking at Justin Fields, going behind a bad offensive line, is that the best for your career? You know what I mean? So, I think them being, they just in terms of them announcing what they announced, they just been proactive on it and letting folks know the approach they're gonna take. They just not gonna allow him to get into a terrible situation, which I can respect. But at the end of the day, regardless of how you plan their situation, it's still not gonna turn out. Peace. Everything is not gonna turn out sweet. I mean, but it's just they're trying to use the leverage that they do have. And to me, Caleb is better than half quarterbacks in the league right now.
I won't argue. Shoot, Drake May is better than half of the quarterbacks in the league right now. Like to me, if I was to have the number one pick, it would be hard for me not to look at Drake May.
Over Caleb?
With Caleb. Like it would be hard for me not to look at him, just to say, oh yeah, we got a number one pick, we getting Caleb. Now I would have to look at Drake. I would literally have to look at Drake. I'm just saying we ain't gonna draft him, but I would have to look at him. Just to say, thing. You would literally, if you had the number one pick today, you would literally draft Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Without even looking at anybody else, yeah.
I mean, I can't argue with you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their opinion on everything.
To me,
you know,
he's that good. So. If he came out with Trevor Lawrence, it would be clear Caleb is the guy. He that good, bro. It's not hype, bro. He that good. When you look at all the new, it's hard, you don't find too many guys with that can do everything he does in terms of not only the physical but the mental. I think that's what people underestimate about him is the mental, how mentally effective Caleb really is. He's impressive, man. He got the footwork is very important for me. He got that arm strength, accuracy, quick release. Mentally, he knows where he's going with the ball. He can play both pre-snap and post-snap. Great personality, leadership skills. He the real deal, bro. Yeah.
You know me. Hey, if I come to you about a question, it's because I have a concern or a thought of something else. But if I hear you, I'm gonna roll with you, and I'm gonna watch now. I'm gonna be like, all right, well, Joe say this, Coach
Yeah.
say this. He said, Coach Mac say this. Hey, he said this about him. So I gotta see this. I gotta see this from him, and I mean, you haven't steered me wrong yet with players. Like you really haven't steered me wrong yet with players. So I mean, I'm gonna keep watching. I just have the mindset of far as just pro style ready.
Mhm.
Drake May is something I gotta look at. Like he's somebody I have to
He's
look at.
impressive too. Now,
So
I've watched him one or few times. Drake May is very impressive, and
yeah,
he's a little more athletic, to be honest with you, than most people think.
yes.
Um, and I think right now he'll be a top 20 quarterback in the league. But I just see Caleb as a generational guy, and that's really the only difference. I really like Shador. Um, I just have
I to me,
one issue with Shador.
to
I think
me,
sometimes he hold the ball a little too long,
yes.
and I felt
But
that was at
I
Jackson
think
State.
the right quarterback coach
Mm-hmm.
can help him with that. The right quarterback coach can help him with that. And I feel like the fact I see to me, like I told a couple of guys the other day, to me, Shador has the inside look towards the NFL because his dad is friends, partners, associates, and with people in the league. He knows coordinators, he knows coaches, he knows owners, he knows people, and he knows like, hey, this may not fit for you. Cause like even when he was at the Denver game and he was telling his sons, like, yeah, we might have to play these guys next year. He's like, play who? You ain't going nowhere. Like you ain't seeing what I'm seeing. Like you're not mentally ready yet. You know what I'm saying?
And I think Shador's gonna have I think he's gonna have an effective and I think pretty great NFL career. And the only reason I'm saying about holding the ball is he's gonna take a little bit more hits than necessary.
Yeah.
And just a
On the
few,
next level.
yeah, just a few weeks ago, I know that he was sacked more than any other quarterback in the college level at FBS level. And a lot of that is not always the offensive line. I'm saying Colorado got the best offensive line, but and that's part of his game. He knows that in terms of he knows that the defense is going to break. Defense has a tough time covering for a long period of time, and they break down his opportunity for a lot of big plays when he does hold the ball. I just don't want him to allow those shots to derail his long term health. You know?
Yeah, that's the 100% sure. And I feel like if he comes back next year and he takes the correct criticism for the thoughts of people saying what we saying, and I'm sure other people are seeing the same thing. If he work on that throughout the offseason and come back next year and improves that, it'll help. It'll help a lot. But old habits sometimes don't die. So
Yeah.
if he gets comfortable with it and he gets in the league and he does it, this is what we're gonna probably see. But I feel like if he was to go to a team like Denver, having a coach like Sean Payton will improve him, help him
Mm-hmm.
more. And I don't see those kids, even though people might call them cocky or this and that, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I see those kids as willing to, like, they sponges. They'll hear you. I'm gonna hear you out, coach. Just tell me what you need from me, and then I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I see those kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I want to say Undisputed was when people were saying, "Oh, why he's doing this, why he need to stop." And I'm saying to myself, no, he don't. Like, enjoy the show. That's what we're here for. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Enjoy the show, because when the little girl from the basketball team from Iowa was doing all "you can't see me" stuff, everybody was all hyped up. It wasn't a problem until the girl from LSU confronted her and say, "Hey, you can't see me." And then it's like, "Oh, I can't believe she's doing that." And it's like, okay, because she's black. And that's how I look at it, because it's a lot of Johnny Manziel, a lot of people who did things that make you say, "Hey, why is he doing that?" But at the same time, we're competitive. We in a competitive sport, and we competitive, and we have to have an edge. You know what I'm saying? because in the style of martial art, the reason they make noise is to weaken the mental of the opponent. That's the only reason why they make noise when they hi and all that. It's the opponent. So if I can put in your mind that, hey, I'm better than you, you have to show me that you're better than me. You have to come out week after week and show me that you're better than me. And I think just the confidence that he has hurts makes a lot of people feel the way they do. You know what I'm saying? What's your take on Bo Nix?
I think moving to Oregon was one of the best decisions he made.
I thought so too. You know, get the hell out of where he was with
yeah.
me. You know
what was going on at Auburn?
they
best for him. Being out west, he's looked a lot better. But
it fits him. It fits him.
Questions about his NFL future. I don't know if I would be as high as. I still want to take a wait and see approach with Bo. I still got some questions because when I say I know DJU kind of their situations kind of mirror, but at the same time, Bo was pretty bad at Auburn. I mean, even when you look at DJU still has some effective games. And that Notre Dame is early on the year before, and then that Duke game last year, and you still seeing flashes. I didn't see a flash at all with Bo Nix, to be honest with you. So we'll see.
So you feel like Bo Nix is a system player. The system has to fit him for him to succeed.
Absolutely.
So he can't come in and change the system and make it fit him. He has to go somewhere where it's already prepared for him to win.
He got to go to the right situation.
Okay.
I don't think. Okay, it's like this. I don't think Bo Nix is the guy that's going to make guys better. I think Bo Nix is the guy that can make. He can come in and help an offense be efficient, but not necessarily make folks around him better. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I see it. And when people say that, sometimes like, how the hell he gonna make you better? No, I mean, a sense of the quarterback coming in and taking ownership of the whole outside of the ball. You know what I mean? Like he comes in and he's gonna make things almost like a great point guard. He's gonna come in and make the offense running and be efficient as possibly can, and it makes guys seem like they're a little bit better than they are. Almost like what Tom did. I think Bo is the kind of guy that's gonna come in and he's gonna make the throw the quarterback. I mean, the coach is exactly gonna make, but in terms of him being a franchise guy, no, I don't see that.
Okay, I mean, because I kind of pitched some things to some Washington Commander guys, and I said, it's only really two quarterbacks that y'all can probably look at that can probably make your team better, and you can only get them in the second round. And Bo Nix was one of them. They looked at me like I was crazy, but I was like, no, Bo Nix, if anything, he has an arm. He has an arm. Like I've watched him from freshman year till today. He has an arm. I know he can throw the football. Right now, only issue I have with Bo Nix is even when he played at Auburn, he played too fast. He didn't allow the game to come to him. It was, oh, he ain't open. I'm gonna move. Like, and it's like, no, dude, sit there. Look, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I need to move. No, it was, I gotta move right now. Like he didn't give his offensive line enough time to do a lot of things and stuff. And I feel like when he was coached by Gus, he didn't run enough. He was trying to show his arm more. Like, I'm gonna throw it. And with the Oregon system, it's like more he throws more because the system is an air out system. You know what I'm saying? So I can throw it more. I compared him with an arm like Brett Favre and Patrick Mahomes. He can sling it. He can really sling the ball. Like, yeah, an arm. I didn't say game. Arm. He can really sling the ball. He can really sling the ball. But his decision making is where I question a lot of things. Even when he was at Auburn, I question a lot of things. Because I remember, like I tell people, when I started diminishing Bo Nix is when we went to South Carolina during the COVID week, and he kept trying to feed the ball. I think the kid name was Williams. And I know J.C. Horn was on the kid the whole game, and he could never complete the pass. Never complete the pass. And I kept saying to myself, I was like, all right, dude, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing watching this game that this dude has done deflected 3 of your passes on the same guy, and you still saying I got to throw the ball to him? Like that's the question I had. Like, you're not making decisions. You already have in your mind, I got to get the ball to him. I got to get the ball to him. I got to get the ball. And then we all know that if a wide receiver is 1-on-1, in certain people's mind, he's open. But if that corner done shut him down 3-4 plays in a row, now, no, let's get him open. Let's stop trying to force it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get him open. And I didn't see that from them at that time. But I watched them against Colorado, and I watched them against Washington, and I said, all right, I see a different quarterback, but I see a different system as well. So that's why I feel like you're flourishing in the system, because it's a different system to what you came from. So that's why I see you doing what you're doing. So that's my take.
No doubt.
And I feel like Washington, he'll be decent fit with Washington with the coach, with the offensive coordinator that they have. They just got to put the weapon, like they have decent weapons already there at Washington. I just feel like they're a decent quarterback away from being a better team, and a tight end. They need a tight end too. So from what I
all right, bro. I got to get ready for something.
Okay, well, man, hey, it was good chopping it up with you, and I appreciate the information and everything. So we'll dang sure do this again, and getting closer and closer, especially when after the rankings and stuff come out, and we get more and more into the college plays and everything like that. So man, we can close it out right here. And I appreciate you coming through. And appreciate everybody who tuned in and watched. And we're gonna close it out right there. So I'll holler at you, boy.
No doubt, man. Appreciate it, bro.
All right.